what it is right here, right now. Black Power Media. This is the RemiX Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And yes, it is spring again. Let me introduce you to your host right here, right now. We got Jackie Lukman and Kamal K. Franklin.
What up, yo? What up, yo?
So no reverb? I thought the last person gets the reverb.
No, I was liking all of us getting the reverb.
Oh.
You keep changing the rules.
First, you don't like the reverb. Then I don't do it on him. Now he sees other people getting shine from the reverb. You know what? Come out. Jackie Lukman.
Thank you.
Now we can start the show.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Jackie.
Greetings. Good morning.
I feel like you haven't been around. It's been a couple of weeks.
It has been a couple of weeks. I needed to take a step back because, life just keeps coming in with the okie doke. And I needed to take a step back.
Glad to be back? You glad to be back?
I'm cool now. I am glad to be back. I am. Y'all are the only people I wake up this early in the morning for.
True that. True.
I'm just, even Jesus, I'm like, I can pray at 11. What?
I agree. Jesus got to wait. In line. I like that pecking order. Kamal, Jesus, and then whoever else. You know what I'm saying? I like that pecking order.
What do you mean whoever? Whoever?
No, just like Kamal, Jesus. That's and then and everybody else can fall in line.
Then the whoever else Kamal?
Who cares? After that point, after me and Jesus, who really cares? You know what I'm saying? It's
boy. Okay. Anyway.
You get into some trouble this weekend, Kamal?
No. I stayed out of trouble. Although we plan to get in some trouble soon, because in the community that we do organizing in, which of course you are part of, they're building homes for the police in particular. And they got this workforce housing thing, and so we plan to do a little protest action coming up soon.
So they're building a company town for the cops?
Basically, in Southwest Atlanta. They're like, well, the last place that we haven't really gentrified, let's put the cops there so that we can immediately start arresting kids and stuff like that right away,
Jesus.
So,
that's really
so we're going to be out in these streets again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that was my only trouble. I think everything. Well, you know what? Some sad, that I don't know if we talked about this on air, but somebody who was sort of dear to me, particularly when I was organizing with the Malcolm X grassroots movement, an OG, Ahmed Obafemi, passed away a week or so ago, and then they had a service for him over the weekend, and we attended. Beautifully done, and he deserved it. He was a former political prisoner, definitely a freedom fighter. Was with the New African Independence Movement for a lifetime, and was one of the elders in the Malcolm X grassroots movement who did a lot of good work and mentored a lot of young folks at the time, including myself, in terms of being stronger organizers. So all praises due to Ahmed Obafemi.
No doubt. Indeed. He was a great brother. I got the big up to everybody that tuned in the Sundays for KRS-One joint. Listen,
I missed it.
It was awesome. People came through. It was dope. And big up to my people that had a party Friday night. Shut it down. I was just telling Jackie that I ended the night playing the slow jams like we used to do back in the basement parties. And somebody had a baby that night.
I was going to say, somebody got pregnant.
Hey, doctor, producing babies since 1987.
A couple of kids named the ear, and they don't know why. They say, "Why is my name ear? Why is my name the ear?"
Well, does it go back to the movie Coolie High when they was slow dancing and somebody got mad and the fight started? Is that why they stopped doing the slow dances at the end of the night?
I don't think so. I
think Frankie Beverly and Mays came along and created the all-time and the night party song "Before I Let Go," and I think that's replaced everything, because after, for some reason, any party in New York at 2 a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m. in the morning, the last song was "Before I," and that's you knew.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was the jam. And you knew.
See, I didn't do house parties a lot, so I couldn't tell you, what.
You did house parties?
No, it's too many people in one place. Everybody's all sweaty and drunk, and People
Yeah.
touching you, nah, I'm not.
That's part of it.
Nah.
Yeah, that's the
I
best
didn't
part.
I didn't like the mosh pit either. That's why I didn't like the mosh pit. I stood off on the side. It's y'all stop.
I had
touching me.
no mosh pit lifestyle. I don't know about that one.
Only
Yeah.
mosh
I
pit
don't know if I
was
can take
in
somebody purposely. Is the fight starts because somebody accidentally bumps into you. You got people purposely bumping into you. It's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I couldn't figure that part out either. So I was like, nah, I'm just gonna stand over here by the bar. That's all right.
Word. So back in the day, if I came over and I was like, "Hey, girl, you want a drink?"
Oh, if you were gonna buy me a drink, you'd be like, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh yeah. I'd be like,
What was your
yeah.
drink back in the day? What was your drink?
So I just had this conversation yesterday because I was thinking of going to get some Uncle Nearest because y'all just talked me up on the damn Uncle Nearest. And I was actually in the middle of a meeting that was just wrecking my nerves. So I was like, I probably need some whiskey. And I'm like, that Uncle Nearest might be cool. So I was just kind of chatting with folks off to the side. And I'm like, man, yeah, you have to understand, I haven't had whiskey in a very long time, like 20 years probably. And I used to drink Jägermeister for fun. So, yeah.
said for fun.
Yeah.
No, never. No,
Yeah,
I was a
yeah.
lightweight. It was
Yes.
like the sweet drinks. I was a lightweight.
It was, I mean, the smell of it now, of course, turns my stomach. But yeah, but other than that, it was like I drank probably the worst beer there is to drink, Rolling Rock, but I never liked beer all that much either. So, yeah.
All the women in my crew were like the watermelon martinis and the sweet martinis and all that kind of stuff.
No,
Yeah.
I never liked the sweet drinks. It was Jack and Coke pretty much. Yeah, I was pretty.
You remember those California coolers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I used to be young trying to drink them. Like, oh, we're getting nice today. Please, have like 2% of alcohol in there.
Yeah,
Right.
I was going to say you need like 12 of those. All you do is put
all
on
you do is
calories.
go to the
No
bathroom.
buzz. Yeah, exactly.
Word, but it was.
Nobody mentioned OE. Yo, but you don't really drink OE in the club, son. You don't go.
Nah.
No, you don't
go to
take
the club
that
and
into
order.
the club.
Because that's the 40 ounce.
Yeah,
40 ounce in a brown paper bag.
Yeah,
you
that's
don't
either
do that
before
in
the party.
club.
That's the corner. That's not the. I'm going
That's
to
the
No,
pre-party.
that's not a
pregame.
club drink.
Nah.
Let me get out of here. I'll let y'all get to what y'all do.
He's like, what y'all do? He's like, I don't know what y'all do.
I don't know what y'all do, and that's okay because
We
half
don't
the time
either
I don't know what I do.
Exactly. That's
I
hard
do
for us to
not
figure
know.
out.
Jesus Christ, this past 2 weeks has been mad, man. It's been, I mean, there's been the personal stuff that's been going on that I've just, tried to kind of push off to the side because there's nothing I can do about it.
Mhm.
And there's the work stuff that's been going on. Our stuff getting booted off of platforms.
Yeah.
We upload our stuff on another platform, it gets booted off, and we're having to find another platform. So it's been wild. And then there's of course the organizing stuff that has only been made more intense because of the stuff that's going on in Ukraine. And then there's still stuff going on in places that's not called Ukraine. So
that no one is talking, like you said, like somebody needs to step up and talk about it because no mainstream media, nobody is covering it. And that's the thing they love too, is like, so when you can ignore everything else, or everything else gets ignored, I should say, that's when a lot of dirt goes down, which history will never record, right? But it changes lives and systems and stuff. And I'm not active on the listserv, but I'm on your listservs. I get all those y'all emails and the debates.
So you get the emails where we're
all that
having a couple of discussions.
Well, I'm officially a member, but it's not active on the listservs no more. But
so you are an official lurker.
I do read 65% of them. It's like, okay, it's an interesting debate. But so where can people find By Any Means Necessary at this moment?
Okay, so let me see. I had to write it down yesterday because it was new to me. So By Any Means Necessary this week, you can always find By Any Means Necessary on SputnikNews.com /by_any_means. Yeah, that we will always be on SputnikNews.com or you can just scroll to the bottom of the page and you'll see our show from the previous day there, or search for By Any Means Necessary. But now, excuse me, our podcasts are on something called Simplecast, I think. And I honestly, I haven't had a chance to go look at it yet to see what it looks like, but it's sputnik.simplecast.com. And we're also, the video is up on Rumble, just in case YouTube decides, we gonna eat y'all. Rumble.com /C/ By Any Means Necessary. So look, all that free speech in this country, you have freedom of speech until you don't, which sounds a lot like fascism to me. But I don't know. I'm not the attorney, Kamal K.
I don't know if it's a
Franklin.
legal definition needed. I think you're quite right. I mean, they talk about, the way people get around it is by saying, "Oh, freedom of speech really just applies to what the government can't do." But as we know here, since everything is controlled by private corporations, they control what speech gets echoed and what speech just reaches, a sidewalk, or what speech reaches 5,000 or 500 as opposed to 5 million people. So obviously, the corporations really control which messages really float up to the top and whose voices get heard. And so that's, probably why we can think about what kind of pop culture we got these days. So it's definitely a limiting of people's free speech. It's definitely a way of cutting off conversations and debates. It's definitely a way of making sure that people don't have alternative information so that they can start to make decisions for themselves, as opposed to the one voice, the corporate voice, which is in bed with the State Department to decide what we think about this particular action or war, what we think about everything the United States does internationally and domestically, and what is the range of debate allowed. And so that's all set by corporate media. So, if when alternative media gets shut down, folks got to keep looking, because that's what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the wild thing is, whenever we talk about like World War II and fascist Spain, as if Spain doesn't still have fascist elements in its government, it does. And when we talk about fascist Italy, kind of same thing. And Hitler's Germany. People are always like, how did all of those nice people just stand by and let that happen? Look at what your friends and your family are doing now, in the face of this government closing media outlets, like RT was closed, branding media outlets, such and such state controlled media, but CNN, NPR, PBS, MSNBC, Fox News, they're not branded State Department controlled media. Look at the way your friends respond to people who have an alternative view of what's being said about this conflict, who are talking about NATO being the aggressor as opposed to Putin being the baby eating monster who needs to be stopped. And we need to impose sanctions on Russia and, starve all those people. Your family members and friends are sitting around either not saying anything about what's being done to journalists and people who have an opposing opinion, or they're actively saying, because like I had somebody tell me, well, I mean, maybe you shouldn't have got a job with Russian media. Like, okay. Or, are fine with censorship. Well, Russia, all they do is put out propaganda, as if the United States doesn't lie about every single thing. You're seeing how all of those good Germans, you're seeing how all those good Germans were cool one day, woke up one day and were like, oh, Nazis.
Yeah, I mean, when I read the New York Times, real quickly, I read the New York Times, and it's amazing their critiques of what's happening in Russia, propaganda, but there's never a critique about US media. There's never a critique about what angles they're deciding to pursue in terms of this war, or why this war started, or not. There's nothing that gives you any context or clues. It's like Russia has, like you said, no interest. It's just a crazy man over there who's acting this way. And all you got to do now is carry your Ukrainian flags, and we are solving the problem. But
Mhm.
speaking of somebody who will never carry a Ukrainian flag, mainly
That's
because
right.
they can't pick out the colors, he doesn't know what it is.
Oh.
The ear doctor
Oh, that's
coming back.
just. I didn't co-sign on that. I didn't. That
I
was
was good
Yeah,
at
all.
they got
transition.
the same colors as
That
Barbados,
was all him.
yellow and blue and black.
There you go. There you go. There
Oh,
you go. Look at you,
See,
Mr. Springtime. Look
I'm
at you,
okay
Spring.
disrespecting
now.
her. You know what I'm saying?
Okay
Springtime. Springtime in the hills. I like that.
In my mind, this is what spring looks like. But
Really? It's because you're
that's what it
smoking
is.
weed all the time, but that's not.
now. Okay.
we gonna
I
take
mean,
a
that's
quick
not a
break right
bad
about
thing.
here, right now, and get right back to y'all. So let's do that. What's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? Welcome out once again to the RemiX Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and y'all are tuned into the Boom Bat Breakfast. That's right here on Black Power Media. Now, what we want to do is make sure you see that like button at the bottom. Go ahead and hit that. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can know all the dope shows when they dropping. Because we just had a dope, especially a real big hip hop political type weekend this last week. So we had a whole lot of stuff for y'all. And go to patreon.com, Black Power Media, and drop some change in the bucket. At this time, you can see, yes, it is spring again in my mind. This is what spring looks like. I wish I was here right now, but at the same time, I'm good in the A. So let's talk about weather. First, we're going to take you to Houston, Texas. That's right. Houston, Texas. Big up to my people in Texas. Don't mess with them. You got a high today of 77 degrees. Next, let's go to Akron, Ohio, where our boy LeBron James, who just beat another record of scoring and assists and all that. Akron, Ohio, they got a high today of 57 degrees. So we're going to drop about 20 degrees there. And next, let's take it over to the west side. We're going to take you over to Oakland, California. Oakland, California got a high today of 78 degrees. And then we're going to take you down to Batamabang, Cambodia. That's right. Batamabang, Cambodia. They got a high today of 91 degrees. 91 degrees. I like that word. Batamabang. That's right. All right. Next, we're going to take you over to the motherland, which is Cabinda, Angola. Did I say that right? Cabinda, Angola. They got a high today of 85 degrees. Big up to my peoples in Angola. And next, we're going to take you to where it's colder than the white man. We're going to take you to Abakan, Russia. That's right. Abakan, Russia, where they got a high today of 38. That's colder than the white man. But let me tell you what's a little bit colder than the white man. It has to be the Atlanta Falcons fans. That's right. Just got rid of Matt Ryan, a quarterback that's been around a little bit too long. But a lot of them blame everything on Matt Ryan. We can't forget that Matt Ryan took them to the Super Bowl, and because the defense couldn't stop Tom Brady with a 28-3 lead, they blamed it all on Matt and said, yo, you got to get out of here. You're terrible. But we're happy he's gone, and we'll welcoming anyone else to come and play quarterback, especially if they black. And that's what it is. That is your weather report for today. So let's take it back to the RemiX Morning Show. You know how we do. Yeah.
So they hated that dude that much.
Oh my goodness. They called Matty Ice. I mean, the dude froze up. He never ran the ball. It'd be like 2 yards for a touchdown. He'd be like, nah, I'm not going to do that much running.
No, I don't want them to hit me.
Yeah, so that's your weather report for the day.
What was that town in, where was it? Was it Laos or Vietnam?
What's it called? Batang?
Bata batang.
Sound like Buddha bang.
Batang.
Bada bing. Oh,
Bada bing.
Bada bing.
Bada bing. Somebody will please
y'all
give
are
the right
terrible.
pronunciation at some point. Yeah.
Somebody's gonna join us one day and be like, you all just completely butcher the names of our town.
The butcher's coming. I'll catch you on the break. Peace.
All
Cool.
right,
Peace.
peace. All right, there we go. That's better. Whew.
That's good. Oh, you fixed something up?
Yeah, I did. I had to move stuff around, so yeah, weird. But anyway, yes, there is actually Kamau news that is going on in the rest of the world that in places not called Ukraine, involving people not called Vladimir Putin. So let's do that. Let's talk about some of that stuff. Let's slap this man.
Slap the map.
Yeah, so the first story that I want to bring up is about Guinea-Bissau. This is really, really important because this involves attacks on the All African peoples. On the PAIGC, which is the um, Almacar Cabral's African Party of Independence of Guinea and Cape Verde. Yes, the party still exists. And what is happening now? Oh, let's see. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, you're not seeing my screen. Let's see. Uh-oh. My share screen not working. Why not? Why are you not working, share screen?
You want to put the link in the chat and I can put it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link. Let me put the link in the chat
In the
because
private
I'm
chat.
getting a weird error message with the share screen.
Okay.
So there has been a series of attacks on the PAIGC headquarters. Excuse me, since 2018, 2019, and this pretty much results from a contested election back in, I think, 2018. The leader of the PAIGC was said to have lost an election let me find his name. I was just looking at it. He is the current president of Guinea-Bissau, and this dude actually declared himself president before the election was even ruled on by the Supreme Court. So the former the leader of PAIGC, who lost the presidential election in 2019 to this dude named Umaro Sissoko Embalo. The election was contested, but Embalo, before the Supreme Court even made a ruling on the case for contesting the election, Embalo just decided to declare himself president. So there was no official declaration of anything. He just said, yeah, I'm president. I'm not waiting for the Supreme Court. So now there has been another attack on the PAIGC headquarters in Guinea-Bissau. A paramilitary force invaded the national headquarters, firing tear gas that came from Zionist Israel, by the way. Into a meeting room where the PAIGC Central Committee was meeting, and they were approving their 10th Party Congress. And this is important, that this Party Congress be not allowed to convene because they can't contest the legislative elections without the Party Congress being convened. So this was not like some random, let's just destroy the organization attack. No, it was a targeted attack with a specific purpose so that the PAIGC could not contest the current or the latest round of legislative elections. The same tactics were used to disrupt the 9th PAIGC Congress in 2018, after the paramilitary invasion and beatings of PAIGC members, the Congress was held and the PAIGC won the legislative elections in March 2019. But less than a year later, Sissoco Embalo proclaimed himself president in a hotel and carried out a coup that dislodged the PAIGC-led government in an attempt to install a dictatorship. So this press release comes from our comrades in the All African People's Revolutionary Party. I appreciate them raising this issue. As I said, there are things going on in the world that are not called Ukraine, and that are affecting people who are not Ukrainians, not blonde-haired, blue-eyed Europeans. Our people are still under attack by forces, Western-backed forces, because it's not a coincidence that those arms come from Israel, that do not want liberation of African people under scientific socialism even today.
Yeah, and I read the New York Times through and through. I didn't see uh, anything about a story in which a major party was attacked by another party. Again, with what you said, European supplied weapons, or European, because the Israelis come from Europe and from Brooklyn apparently. So so it is one of those things that unless you really look hard for this kind of news, you won't find it. And there is a continual grassroots and left effort in different African countries at this particular stage that is reemerging to fight back against some of these basically neo-colonial rulers who will do everything and anything, and just to connect it to Ukraine, similar to the leadership of Ukraine, who let themselves either be used or want to be used because they think they're getting some resources, and they're being used for the efforts of the West. Not because it's better for their own people, not because it's bringing resources to their country, but because it's putting resources in their individual hands, in the hands of their family and other higher ups in the government. So I think the only thing surprising, like you said, is that it's a cabal's party, which is still in existence, which many people probably just felt dissipated after cabal's assassination. But that party still exists. And again, there's still on the ground organizing happening around issues to bring real self-determination, as Jackie said, and left economics, political institutions that are not dependent on the West. People are looking to bring that to the fore, looking to bring that to light. And so that's really important for people to know and understand.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you pointed out, Kamal, that people may have thought that the PAIGC just kind of dissipated after Cabral's assassination. Isn't it interesting that the organization that raised this issue is Kwame Nkrumah's organization? So, I mean, it is very, very important that we, African people, if that's what we believe we are, continue to be connected with revolutionary African organizations, because these are the people that we're going to get this kind of information from about these ongoing struggles of our people on the continent and all throughout the diaspora.
And when done correctly, as we've just seen, these organizations survive the either the death and or assassination of their leadership. So that's why organization becomes so important, that these are not one person shows, that these organizations had the infrastructure, had the ideological base, had the membership to keep on going once the folks who were sort of similarly important in setting them up passed on or again were assassinated. So all praises due, particularly to people who build organizational infrastructures that last past the initial leadership.
Yeah, so I see in the chat that Mani now wants to read more about this. I'm going to drop this press release in the chat for you all, so you can have this information for yourself and please connect with the All African People's Revolutionary Party. By connect, I mean support.
Yeah, potentially join.
And perhaps join. That would, that Black Alliance for Peace, that AARP, that look, support these organizations, these Black African revolutionary organizations. That's desperately needed. What you
And
got,
I'm
Camille?
gonna take us to a story that emphasizes why they're desperately needed
Mm.
because of shenanigans that are going on. Like you mentioned, something that's going on internationally. Well, it's so happened that domestically speaking, the police here still are trying to, well, not still. The police here, their job is to disrupt, kill, dismember, stop Black organizations from getting anything done. And so here we have a story. It's an interesting story because within the context of there's a police officer who is suing the Maryland Police Department, claiming discrimination against herself as a Black officer. But part of the information that's coming out is that the higher ups in the department were discussing killing Black Lives Matter as described here, basically Black protesters. And that was part of what was being bantered about in the suit. So this is a federal lawsuit, which is alleging discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. So the other part of it that I found interesting is that if this officer was treated correctly, it sounds like, and I think it sounds like basically that they would not have revealed any of this information. So this information was only revealed because he felt like he was not being treated correctly within the department itself. But as part of his lawsuit, he is alleged that the Maryland National Capital Park Police, I should specifically say, that some people in the department said things as clear as they want a race war. Okay, let's go. And that as part of what the officers would do, would say things like down here, time to start killing. So these officers, just the mindset of them is that we are cannon fodder or we are not fully human. And obviously, the right to sort of protest or to fight for our rights is something that they consider a threat to their larger stability as a country and as a city. And they will go through any means and mechanisms potentially to stop us from even protesting in the street. Sounds like
And
fascism.
oh, again, yet again. And let's I think I'm struck by the fact that this is the park police, y'all. This is the National Capital Park Police of Maryland. And I think people look at, because I know they do here in DC, they look at park police as, the kinder, gentler police. But no, they pigs. They pigs, just like every other group of pigs.
They got
They act
guns.
like they pigs. This is the park police. So if this is the way the park police in Maryland are acting, I think I'm angry that people are still surprised. Like even the cops, like you cannot be surprised that your fellow pigs talk like this. I mean, like you said, Kamal, the only reason he brought it out was because he didn't think that the lawsuit was going to go well for him. So he's like, "Well, okay, look, let me show you how bad this really is." and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's just, there I don't think there are no more valid arguments for people to have for believing that the problem with policing is a few bad apples thing. I wish people would stop
Yeah.
with that, with half of that phrase. Stop only using half of that phrase, because the phrase is one bad apple spoils the whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, okay, let's say it is a few or a one bad apple thing. The whole bunch is still spoiled
Yeah.
because of those one or a few bad apples if you keep them in the barrel. So, I mean, I just
Because the
the
others don't
more,
say anything, right? If
yeah, exactly.
the others, if they are so concerned about these so-called bad apples, right, and they're different, they don't expose, they don't rush out in front of the cameras as soon as it's happening and say this person is planning or doing something or claiming to do something or working with other officers to do something which is going to be hurtful or harmful to so-called citizens we're here to protect. They're not rushing out to say, I was at the scene when this person was shot and I saw that they were running and I saw that this person was defenseless. I tried to stop this officer from doing. I'm coming forth as a good citizen so that I can tell you all that this officer did because I think this person should be kicked off the force. That's not what happens. So what happens instead is that they gather around and they get their story straight. Okay, you're going to say this, we're going to say this, we're going to say you felt threatened, you're going to say you thought my life was in danger, we're going to
Mm-hmm.
say they had a bulge in their pocket, we're going to say they were reaching for something, whatever it takes to exonerate that one officer, the other 12 or 15 or 20 at the scene were participating. And in this particular case, it sounds like to me like some of this information was back in 2020 and earlier. This officer sat on it apparently,
Mm-hmm.
sat on it, wasn't necessarily trying to come forward, only wanted to be treated better amongst his fellow officers. He only wanted the promotions that he think he so richly deserved that discrimination stopped him. So when discrimination stopped him as an individual, he was ready to come out and say something. But when that discrimination, when that racism, when that white supremacy was targeting the masses of Black people who were protesting for our rights, he didn't think he should say anything. Instead, he kept it to himself. He might have saved it all, apparently, for future use, but he didn't necessarily rush out with a press conference and say, here, I have this evidence that this is happening in the police department, in the Parks Police Department. And if it's happening here, you know what's happening in the larger police departments and other places. He did none of that. He held on to it until it served his own individual interest.
Right. And you know, just to be clear, because you know, the pigs are not, they're not, you know, selective about their hatred. There were racist and bigoted comments about Latinx people, about Asians, about the LGBTQ community. So this idea that people have that we can't, that we have nothing in common with these other marginalized groups of people, that, you know, like, oh well, you know, because I always hear when we talk about and this was a big issue during the uprising in the past few years against racist police terrorism, where when people brought up the issue of oppression by the police against other marginalized group of people, I heard from way too many Black folks, well, they ain't never done nothing for us, they ain't never helped us, blah blah blah. The pigs are killing all of us. And
Mm-hmm.
the idea that these other groups of people do not show any solidarity with Black people in these matters, number one, is historically not true, and number two, that's not even true now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that we, some of us need to get out of our own way with our own little biases in order to fight this beast that's killing us all. So
Yeah.
I mean, this is
No,
just, I
yeah.
just thought this was wild.
Yeah, when we take on other people's rhetoric, then we do ourselves a disservice. So we can't necessarily, we can't. I mean, this happens a lot because either we're too scared or maybe we don't have the information needed. Where we fight at the folks who are at our level in terms of the oppression that they're facing, as opposed to, like you said, joining forces, finding common cause, or targeting the real people here who are responsible for this, right? The elite, the capitalist hierarchy, and their foot soldiers, right?
Hmm.
So, I mean, everybody has agency. So I don't want to just act like people who are working class white folks or working class other folks who join the police don't have some agency. But for us to target other people as in they're not doing enough, we're not doing enough, because in the end it's our struggle and our people, and we need other people to join in our struggle. We should support other folks, but in the end we need to not necessarily wait for anybody else to do anything. We have to
Hmm.
get out there and do it. I'm not saying that we have waited for other people, but for us to spend any time targeting other working class or poor oppressed people, other folks of color, as opposed to the system that's doing the oppressing, means that we're taking our eye off the ball, that we're not doing the work that we need to do. So
Exactly. And that's, you know, what they count on. They wait for us to do this, you know, public infighting. And then they're like, oh yeah, let's see what else we can get away. Yeah. So what else is going on? This is a weird story in Tennessee. Let me see if it'll let me share it this time, Kamal, because I made a few adjustments.
You made some adjustments.
I,
You could always
I
drop
hope
it in the chat. Drop it in the chat.
I could, but you know, aha, there we
Oh, you
go.
got it working. Oh, this
Aha.
was it. Yeah, go ahead with this one. Yeah.
Okay. There's apparently a Ford plant in this town in Tennessee, and there is a small black town near the site of this new Ford plant that is going to be built. That's going to be built, and the town is predominantly black. They have their own city charter, and they are under threat of hostile takeover. This still happens in this country, which I think is, and I don't want to like dismiss the fight for land back. I think that this is one of the things that we have to be very aware of in this fight for land back, because even if we own the land, the Urugos still gonna do this. So what has happened is this Ford plant is they want the town, they want the land, and the Tennessee comptroller is in agreement of ceding the city charter to the Ford Corporation to have the land. And he said, the comptroller, what's his guy's name? Jason Mumpower said, in my opinion, it's time for Mason to relinquish its charter. Mason contains 1,337 property owners. Most of those people black now. They own their land. He encouraged local residents to encourage your local officials to do what's necessary to allow Mason to thrive. There's no town to waste. This is the mayor of Virginia Rivers, vice mayor rather, and she's the one who said this is a hostile takeover. This is not right. But the state comptroller, this guy, is encouraging people to give up their rights to their land. Some of the residents of Vice Mayor Virginia Rivers says, this is our home. We were born and raised here. The majority of the town is homegrown people that live here. He's trying to conquer and divide us. He meaning this Urugu right here. It's akin to a hostile takeover. It's not hard to figure out why here, why now. And let's see, 60% of the town called Mason includes descendants of men, women, and children enslaved in the area before emancipation. For more than a century, the town was led by white elected officials. That changed in 2016 when fraud and mismanagement allegations led to the resignation of nearly all city hall officials, all of whom were white. What does that mean? That means these white people were taking the money from the 1,337 tax-paying, land-owning members of the town and stealing it. That's what they were doing. They were caught. They all had to resign. So the current mayor and vice mayor and all 5 of its 6 aldermen are black. And of course, because the town is predominantly black, the leadership of the town is predominantly black. Now Ford comes in and they're like, oh, no, I want that land. 5 miles from the future site, Ford Motor Company's 4,100-acre electric truck and battery plant secured a contract by Tennessee state officials last year with $1 billion in taxpayer incentives. The operation is expected to generate 27,000 new jobs and $22 million annually in state taxes. But if the plan, the deal is that lucrative, why do they need that little piece of land? They already have allocated to them 4,100 acres of land. Why do they need that little town? They really don't. All of this is about the white former leadership of the town trying to punish the black folks who caught them stealing their money.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, with all those extra resources, what they want is to steal more money and more.
Exactly.
So yeah, like we're not going to let this go to waste.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So they weren't asked to give up the charter after all those fools were had their can caught in a cookie jar and were stealing money from the town. But they got to resign. I didn't hear anything about people being prosecuted or going to prison or
Nope.
anything like that.
Mm-mm.
So, but now, it's amazing because the corporation is coming in because it wants cheap land and it wants cheap labor. So they're not. That's not act like they're not necessarily doing the town a great favor. Obviously, people need jobs, and so there will be jobs that will be supplied. But I'm sure that when we look at the salaries of most of these jobs in the local labor market, they will be minimum wage to low wage labor that they're using. So that's check one on the corporation. The county and state officials, they want the tax base, right? They're gonna tax the corporate, even though there might be some tax breaks. They're going to get taxes from corporations, from the new individuals who have jobs, from stores where people who have jobs will be shopping. So they're like, big money. The local cats in particular are looking to control the market and the land so that they can get the benefits from it. And it's just, and they're going to hope the railroad these folks and think that they're not going to fight back and hope, and so they've already got some media, so it does mean hopefully they will be fighting back, because like you said, this is an ongoing battle of who controls land, who controls the access to resources and the use of the land. And so it's similar to our history and the history of the indigenous population here. As soon as they find some useful what they consider to be a useful objective for the land, then they're interested in the land again. That's the
Right.
only reason they're interested in the land again, is because now they believe they can make some profit from it. So the profit motive, of course, wins out, and they don't want to make sure that the profits go to the black folks in the town, or the resources are used to help further development, to help further develop. Hopefully, these folks were thinking about that, but to help further develop the localities and the people there. And that's part of the issue, that we have black leadership in some of these places and some of these cities, and the states usually take away this, particularly in like conservative southern cities, when you have a large black population and sometimes the capital, the largest city in the state, the resources that the state supplies are minimal, and they're constantly targeting that city for lawsuits, for threats, for new laws that limit their ability to run the city, until, of course, they're in a position to try to take it back over, either through some eminent domain proposition, through gentrification, through new redevelopment. And what they'll do in the meantime, until they get to claim that land, that large land space back, I'm thinking particularly right now of Mississippi, is that they'll start to develop areas or suburbs around the main city that are mostly pockets of white folks. So that's what gets developed. You get corporations. That's where the state officials live, and that's what's targeted for, like, development. But they have their eyes on reclaiming these larger cities, and it's happening here in Atlanta too. And of course, in fact, I should just say, every major city around this country, which was once black populated in terms of either majority or near majority black, has been targeted for not only gentrification but takeover, so that these corporations, which now want to move back from the suburbs into the main
Mm-hmm.
city with transportation and restaurants and infrastructure, so that they can take that back over and they can use it for their will and push black folks further out. And as you can see, even when we get pushed out, as soon again as that land, there's some value for either the land or the use of the land that someone has found, it's not like they leave us alone. So that's why it's a protracted struggle. That's why we can never let our guard down. And whatever we claim and think we have will always have to be fought for, because once we have it and once they see a value for it, they're going to use whatever mechanisms, legal and extra legal, to try to get it back from us.
Yeah, I mean, when you dig down into the story of this town, I mean, the white people who ran the town before were literally stealing $100,000. The town clerk stole $100,000 in taxpayer funds. The former public works superintendent, he was actually indicted by a Tipton County grand jury, because he paid himself an extra $600,000 between 2007 and 2015. I mean, the black elected officials who came into office after all of the thieving white people resigned, they inherited $500,000 in debt that they have worked very hard to rectify. And this little town of 1,300 people have like one of the highest tax rates in the region. But this white man, who is the comptroller, has offered these people an ultimatum that either they rescind the city's charter and bring Mason under the authority of the Tipton County government, the larger county government, or the comptroller's office will take full financial control, oversee the town's budget, with having the authority to approve any expenditure of $100 or more. And I know that the people in this little town are facing an uphill battle fighting this Urugu thieving controller, because you can't convince me that he ain't stealing money too. And Ford, but I hope they fight back, and damn it, I hope they win. And I just, it's just such a damn shame that people, this idea that, oh, owning land is in, owning your home, that's the gateway to the American dream. Not for us, it's not.
That's right. That's right. So speaking of the gateway,
Oh,
he's like a gateway drug.
That's
I was going to keep it going, but I said, let me just leave it alone.
I appreciate that there, Kamal.
I left it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, what we're gonna do right about now is we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna do it's Women History Month, so we're gonna do some women history. So let's get
right
about here right about now on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. All right. What's good, everybody? Welcome out once again to the Remix Morning Show. At this time, I wanted to give a spotlight. Since, like I said, we just rocked out, and for Sundays, we did Boogie Down Production. We did KRS-One. I wanted to put a spotlight on one of the females. But since we're talking about one of the females, or one of the women, one of the sisters, you got to get these words right nowadays. One of the sisters, big up to Miss Melody, part of the Boogie Down Production squad. She just had her birthday. And another person that's down with BDP on the side, happy birthday today to DJ Premier, who is also a part of the story of who I'm about to talk about. And who am I about to talk about? One of the sisters that's part of BDP. That's right, Heather B. Heather B, y'all. In case y'all don't know, y'all about to find out. Heather B. Garner, born November 13th. Scorpios in the building. Straight from Jersey City, New Jersey. That's right. She is a rap artist, an actress, and one of the first reality TV show people on TV. That's right. She was on the original cast member of The Real World New York back in 1992. So don't sleep on Heather B, because she definitely got lyrics. And you might have seen her then, but through time she came around. You might have seen her back then. She was real hard with it, especially with the lyrics. And she did the Real World thing for a while. Like I said, she's one of the first. But then she also was doing music. She pretty much was with Boogie Down Production. She was signed to Pendulum Records back in 1995. She released her album Taking Mine. Taking Mine has some hard bangers on it, like All Glocks Down. It had a joint on there with MOP that was real dope. This All Glocks Down was an anti-gun violence anthem, received radio play, and then she came up with If Heads Only Knew. Real dope album. She also did film. She was in Dead Presidents as Peaches. She also was in, the Wedding Video, which was a Real World album type thing that was done. But she was also in, what movie was it? That's right, Death Wish with Bruce Willis. She also played in Luke Cage and Marvel, her and Sway. Yes, Sway. That's right. They also have a morning show on Cyrus satellite radio, Sway in the Morning. She does that with Sway. So she's been doing her thing for years, as in getting down with the rhyming, being on TV, one of the first reality stars, and now she's an on-air personality doing her thing on the radio on the regular. Big up to Miss Heather B. Like I said, you might remember her from back when she was doing the Real World. But the funny thing is, they came back and did a Real World and did it and brought all the members back. So that's what it is. That is Heather B. And once again, make sure you check out her music. She has 2 albums. But like I said, one part of the story was DJ Premier. She actually did a 3rd album called Eternal Affairs, and it was produced by Pete Rock and DJ Premier. But the 2 albums she got, Taking Mine and Eternal Affairs, which came out 2002. Check that out. You know what I'm saying? And that is your history on Heather B for the day. Now let's get back to the morning show. You know how we do. All right?
It's not the Star Spangled Banner or the red, white, and blue, but the underground system from the entertainment group. So what you do is back up if you work for Bush, cause all the presidential kids and pushing politics, you gotta get mushed. Give me back my land, you sucker. You beat down my father and you raped my mother.
Woo! Heather B.
Hardcore.
Yeah,
These females. You can tell Ear Doctor's like some old street nigga because he's like, these females. These females. You know these females. I was like, what the hell? What?
I come from the era when you call them honey dips. Yo, honey dip was good. You know what I'm saying? Honey dip. That's
What
nice.
era was that?
It sound like the 1950s. You ain't that old.
Honey dip.
Y'all honey dip?
Yo, that was 90s
dip.
right there.
I don't know about that.
No, I've never.
Honey dip?
Gotta be a Jersey thing, which is why I
Yeah.
stayed out of Jersey.
Yeah, I guess.
I was down. And Miss Melody is still alive?
Nah.
Oh, you said it was her birthday, didn't you?
Yeah, birthday pass. You know, we still get props.
Okay, my bad.
You know how you make it.
Oh, I was
still,
like,
we
what?
still get props.
She made it? Oh. I just remember. I thought I could have sworn I remember. You know how I keep track of these things. I could have sworn I remembered that she had passed a few, and that's right. She was married to KRS-One.
That's right.
She
Right.
Married to KRS-One. It was 3 sisters down with him. It had Heather B, Harmony, and Miss Melody.
Then he dumped her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got with B Simone or somebody, but
Yeah.
She wasn't the hardest lyricist. She could spit, but her lyrics was kind of. But she's a born again rebel. That's what she says in Self-Destruction. One of the only 2 sisters on Self-Destruction song was her and MC Light. Self-Destruction.
That's right.
We're headed for self-destruction.
Yeah.
That was a jam. A little preachy, but it was a jam.
Yeah. I got to tell you, the Real World made me hate roommates in general and reality shows specifically. I hated. Oh my God! I just did not understand how. And like it was like, what was the catchphrase? This is what it's like when you put people in a house and life gets that's not real, because in real life somebody would have gotten stabbed.
Like on that Dave Chappelle skit when they did the real life.
Yes, exactly. I agree with that. I was like, who gonna put up with that? I'm not putting up with that for that much longer. Trying to sleep with my girl when she come over? What?
Well, that's your history segment for the day. I'll catch you on the next break. Peace.
Nice. I can see how Ear Doctor could be, a gateway drug. He's a gateway drug to all of this hip hop and rap history, which he does. He has it down cold. That's I'll give him that much.
Apparently,
he cannot pronounce serious, but
can't pronounce a lot of things. But he's honey dipping. He's honey dipping with the female. So he's keeping it going.
I'm gonna be chuckling about that one all day.
I was like, what? Honey dipping.
Really? You called like strange women that, and you didn't get like punched in the mouth? I don't see.
This is not one of the ones I remember. You said about honey dip was like 1994. Yeah, honey dip. I just don't. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I know. I remember one time. So Abdus would always call me. This was our little secret name. I had a pet name for him. He was my bear, and his pet name for me was his chocolate drop.
Oh.
So one day we were out somewhere, and it was in New Jersey because we were visiting his family, and we were out in we were downtown in Camden. if you want to call that downtown. That was, whew. So, we're just rolling around and he's showing me the sights and stuff and showing me all kinds of stuff. And we're walking around and somebody walks by and says, yo, you a fine chocolate drop. That man, I was like, I thought that man was going to jail that day. I thought that other person was going to die. This man turns around. He turns from the sweetest, look, babe, this is where I used to go to do here. And look, this is Crown's Chicken. And it's where we used to hang out here. And this is where we get the donkey. And the guy comes along and, yo, chocolate drop. This dude turns around faster than I have ever seen him, put his hands on the man and is like, jacked him up. Nigga, you don't talk to somebody else's woman like that out in the streets. Where the hell did you come from? You don't know what you got yourself. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. And then,
what did he think was going to happen? I don't understand.
Know what he thought was going. But we were like literally holding hands, which was weird because Abdus did not like holding hands in public. But the really funny thing was, it turns out they knew each other.
So right before he was about to deliver the blow, he was like,
"Yeah, he was like, I know you, yo, Mike." Because before he changed his name was Michael. So the guy's like, yo, Mike. And I just looked at him, and he was like, whatever this dude's name was, I think it was Fred. It was like, Fred.
Did that chill out the situation right away?
It chilled out the situation. They ended up laughing like, and this dude, he was like, yeah, that was kind of foul, man. But
people don't like it today, but that was part of the culture was like, you can't, part of the male sexist patriarchal culture was, and might still be, you know what I'm saying? You out with somebody, whether it's a date or not, it's like, you don't do that.
You don't do that. And it was so funny.
That's like, yeah, that's the wildest. Like, it's almost like you want to fight if you're doing that, or you think.
And I'm just like, dude, what did you think I was going to respond favorably? Did you think
exactly. I was going to leave my man and be like, thank you. What's your number, baby?
Like, first of all, he was short and skinny, so it would have never happened. So
what's wrong with the skinny man? Don't be
I told you, Kamal.
No, I'm just throwing it out there. What's wrong? I just nothing wrong.
Y'all need to get your weight up. I'm sorry. I can't.
I'm worked. Now I gotta go press it out a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
One of those weird Camdens. And every time we went after, because Camden's real small, every time we went afterward, he'd run into that dude. And we'd always laugh about that. And one time he was like, I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry for real, bro. I'm sorry. But your wife fine though. She's fine though, man. Come on.
Well, did he ever apologize to you though? See,
he did.
Oh, he did. Okay, I was gonna say. He did. That was the other part of it. It's like, it's not like he got to apologize to her. The other sexist part was always like, we gotta have this discussion. Like, don't be dissing my mood, that kind of thing. But anyway, we can get back to some news. You got some more news for us?
So let's see. I guess do we have to talk about the confirmation hearing for that woman who's being on the Supreme? I don't know what people want me to say. I mean,
if you should do a little bit more.
I mean, I don't know what y'all think we gonna get. I think she will be confirmed. I don't think that there is going to be any kind of, what can the Republicans say after they confirmed old boy who likes beer, Kavanaugh? Really, what can they?
It's all the show.
Throw against her, after they let him slip through, right? But on the other hand, it's like, when she's confirmed, what are we gonna get? What are working class, poor, and oppressed, colonized people in this country going to get out of her being on the Supreme Court? Mm-hmm. If we kind of look at her track record as a jurist, as a judge, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot.
Yeah,
But
but she certainly has no racial alliance from what has been seen so far. So I mean, I think she's going to be moderate to liberal. So there are certain things that'll be protected. That's I mean, well, considering the court's makeup, there's not a lot to protect, but she will probably vote in the liberal moderate category. But as you said, that may protect certain things, but it doesn't shift anything. It is not any danger whatsoever that somehow through the Supreme Court, there's going to be a massive redistribution of resources to poor and working class people. That's just not the role of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is here to protect the quote unquote integrity of the country as it is, to settle disputes again within a certain range of debate, but to not go any further than that. So, the action is, again, there will be some things, which again, I'm not saying are not important, that are going to be important, but they are strictly around maintaining a certain status quo, as opposed to doing something that we may consider to be radically different. And so she is not going to, again, it's obvious that she's going to, I think, true that she's going to get confirmed. I think for the Republicans themselves, this is an opportunity to get some talking points in particular for them to challenge a Black woman for their constituency is red meat. And so that's how racism plays out. It doesn't matter that her politics may be as closely aligned to theirs as possible. But from the showy point of view, they get to tell their constituents, we challenge this woman who is obviously a radical leftist in their eyes, or at least in their rhetoric, that they get to challenge her and look what they did and look at this soundbite, give me money and elect me so that I can keep my version of the status quo going also. So I agree with you. I don't think there's any doubt that she's going to get confirmed. But in the end, this is not going to be any sort of major, even as again, I've seen things where, obviously Black liberals are, that this is a high time to get the first Black woman on the Supreme Court. And so there's a lot of flag waving and support this Black woman. But as you said, this is just a one in a long line of firsts, which still keeps us last.
Yeah, I mean, the clue should have been that she was endorsed by the Fraternal Order of the Police. So whenever there is a case before her on the court where the procedures or the violations of rights, excuse me, that the police are being accused of, or the violation of procedures that they are being accused of, that FOP endorsement lets you know that in those cases, she is going to rule for the cops. They wouldn't have endorsed her otherwise. And why would they endorse her? If she didn't have a record of already ruling that way. So yeah. I guess it's, it's nice that she has an African sounding name and she's got locks, but again, all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
She got an African sounding name?
Katanji.
I thought it was
anything
Project
that's
Black.
not Susan and Helen is African
Okay.
sounding.
I thought it was like Project Black. You know what I'm saying?
I just okay.
It sounded more to me. I might be wrong on it, but it sounded more to me like a Shaniqua kind of name.
Now, why are you name shaming?
Well, no, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying there's a difference between, Black working class full name and African name. But I could be wrong. Somebody's saying in the chat, somebody is saying it is. So my bad and my ignorance.
You just and for the skinny shaming, I don't skinny shame. That is my preference. I prefer some substance to play with, y'all.
Oh my.
Come on. Okay. I can't be breaking people in half.
Okay then. Oh, goddamn no. Well, all right.
What?
Let's not say that's gonna happen, but but I understand your point. Ain't no breaking in half here, but I understand your point. You got a little off the topic. You got a little off the topic, but I'm just saying.
No shame towards anybody's anything. I just like I'm cool that people might not be into me. That's cool. That's all right.
No,
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna defend the skinny man just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no breaking in half. You know what I'm saying? Nobody getting broken down in half. The same.
Okay,
Let's
well.
go to the next news story. Should we move on?
Speaking of racism, no.
And
Oh
even
Lord.
wait a minute, though. I'm gonna stay. So for just before, obviously, Black and working class people are African. Somebody said something that I try to stay out the chat myself, but I was just commenting on. Obviously, we do names sometimes, which we hope are close to there, but they are not quite. And so, anybody who knows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Google, I don't know why this is a surprise. Google is accused in a lawsuit of systemic bias against Black employees. Y'all, what major corporation in this country, in this evil den of settler colonial thieves, does not traffic in systemic bias against the 18 Black employees that they have? Good Lord, come on. A lawsuit was filed on Friday that accuses Google of systemic racial bias against Black employees, saying the search engine company steers them to lower level jobs, pays them less, denies them opportunities to advance because of their race. No shit. According to a complaint seeking class action status, Google maintains a racially biased corporate culture that favors white men, where Black people comprise only 4.4% of employees and about 3% of leadership and its technology workforce. Excuse me. Let's see. It came after the state civil rights regulator, the Department of Fair Employment and Housing, began investigating Google's treatment of Black female workers and possible discrimination in their workplace. And there's so much more. There's so much more. This is the name of the case, Curley v. Google LLC. It's in the U.S. District Court, Northern District of California. Listen, tech companies are, unless they are specifically owned by Black people, marginalized people, and even sometimes when they are owned by marginalized people, they are almost without exception a dude bro tech culture. They just the kind of culture that exists in like the gaming world, that kind of sexist, very misogynistic, very racist, dude bro alpha male kind of. That's tech companies are like that. Why? Because the people who started those tech companies came from those damn gaming rooms, basically. So I mean, it's I hate to say, like, another day in America, the water's wet. But I mean, it really is. It's just I don't know. And I think for me, Kamal, I think I look at these cases and I look at how we have laws. Speaking of the Supreme Court, in all seriousness, we have laws that supposedly outlawed this kind of discrimination, right? But it keeps happening. So I am looking at these laws and I'm thinking, are there flaws in the laws? Or is it the case that the laws have never actually been, there has never been a punishment for violating these laws? You know what I mean? That like, it's one thing to have a law. Like the law is, if you go over the speed limit by 10 to 15 miles, that's reckless driving. And, you get a big old fine and possibly points on your license. There's a discernible and material penalty for violating that law of breaking the speed limit, which, would keep some people from doing that too often. But where is the discernible penalty for violating anti-discrimination laws? I don't know that I've seen them applied in a way that keeps corporations from violating anti-discrimination laws. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, I think particularly these days, the laws, these days over the last 20, 30 years, the laws have also been narrowed. Again, that proving discrimination is not even about marshaling the obvious evidence, that statistical showing, as we saw in that diagram, that only a certain percentage of blacks are hired and a certain percentage of blacks are in certain types of leadership positions. These days, a lot of the law has to be to win particular cases. You have to show intent, right? So you have to have the smoking gun. So really, a lot of these laws are about please don't be overtly racist. That's what they, please don't come out and have files that check off and say, black category, put them over here, white, put them over there, kind of thing. Please don't write emails that openly say, I hate black people, I'm going to fire these black folks or why these black people. That's what that's what these laws are. Otherwise than that, you can continue on with the game, and the game is to keep the white population mostly satisfied and happy. Part of the game is they're going to have a lower unemployment than black folks. Black folks are going to be our last hired, first fired, our reservoir of workers. But when we don't need them, we don't need them because we have other places we can put them. Right? We can put them in prison. They can work an underground economy. They can do those things. But the idea is we're going to keep white folks employed as much as possible first and foremost, not exclusively by any stretch of the imagination. With the deindustrialization of the country that started in the 70s, happened in the 80s, and moving particularly cheap labor to places like Mexico, then ultimately China. But still, even within that realm of exploiting labor, the emphasis is on making sure that there are more white folks employed, so that they don't get upheavals and so forth because of their numbers, than it is being concerned about black people. I mean, I think there's stats that we've may have previously spoken about that show that white folks black folks with college education make less than white folks who have high school graduations. And that the main hiring force for black people in the country has always been government, whether that's the city, the state, or the federal government. That percentage-wise, those are the places where we find resources and jobs, which usually pay lower in a lot of ways than private enterprises. But those are the places where we just find more jobs, and private enterprise, again, treats us as excess labor to only use when needed, because other labor may be too high at some particular point, or like the other story we showed where there's cheap labor someplace to go get it, and so they can do that. But other than that, the goal is always to make sure that white folks, unemployment wise, is less than half of what black unemployment is, and that's on purpose, and that's going to keep going as long as these folks don't come out and say we hate black people.
Yeah, I mean, what discrimination looks like in corporate America is, not that somebody in the office is like literally going to call you the N-word. That may happen, or if they're having a particularly bad day. But what it looks like is everybody else being promoted or, getting a raise and you getting a smaller raise. And the reason they give for that is that you're not a team player.
Mm-hmm.
Or you get shuttled off to the note-taking function on a major project. And their excuse for that is, well, I think that you have better attention skills, and we this is a really important project, and we'll move you on to something else that's more suited for your talents.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like, it looks like walking into a meeting and the project manager brings the new assistant project manager in. Project manager's a white guy, assistant project manager is a white girl, and introduces the white girl to everybody in the room but you. And I know this is what it looks like because every single one of those things happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot more. Just like at first you're like, maybe I'm imagining things. Maybe people are just, maybe I'm not working hard enough. Maybe I'm not blah, blah, blah. But then after a while, it's like, no, these are some racist
shit. It's like some racist shit happening. Yeah, I used to do this in New York or traveling wise. I'm like, when you travel, you go into fast food restaurants or whatever. And it was here I see it a little bit more here in the South, but I see it everywhere, where all the workers in a spot will be black. all the workers. But for some reason, is that one white manager. There's always that white manager.
Always. The
I'm like,
manager,
you telling
supervisor,
me
always white.
you can't find one black person to run a store in this neighborhood, but you can find 35 low cost black folks to flip your burgers. But you
Right.
need that white manager on top to tell them what to do, kind of thing. You know,
Right.
that's the type of shit that goes on. This is like this is impossible to be anything else but racism, right? This is allowing white folks to feel that they have some control over people, and as long as they feel that, everything's good. Everything's good.
Yeah, I love what what Dr. CPS said the other day on a webinar that we were on. I spent a whole lot of years in corporate America working hard, trying to prove that I was not what these people said I was. And one day I was just like, you know what? They are never going to be convinced that I'm not what they think I am. So I'm going to do my job and I'm going to take my ass home. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do extra nothing. I'm not gonna take on any extra projects. I'm not gonna do stuff. I'm not gonna work at work through lunch at my desk. I'm not gonna eat lunch at my desk. I'm not doing that. And so we were on the webinar, and she said, because somebody asked, what's something like, what can we do to how do we get involved and that kind of thing? And she said, you know what? And honestly, let me tell you something. Do the bare minimum. Like on these jobs, you don't owe these people shit. You don't owe. We are conditioned to believe that we should be lucky and happy to have a job. So that we should, and then when we get on the job, we're made to feel like we were gifted the job because we weren't. Surely we were not qualified for it.
Yes.
Here I was. I had nobody's degree, but I was writing better than the CEO or the president of the agency that I was contracting for. And they're putting stuff in front of me like, I'm like, that's not even a fucking sentence. That's not, But I had to take notes during the meeting because I didn't have the skill set. Okay, well, I will sign off on this little press release that you gave me because I don't know what I'm doing. And then when I did, then all hell breaks loose. Then it's like, Jackie, can you fix this? Sure, she can. For an extra 10%. Sure, she fucking
That's right.
can.
Take your money.
But other than that, do the bare minimum.
That's right.
Don't work yourself to death trying to prove to these people that you're not as worthless as they think you are. Don't do that. Do the bare minimum.
Take your money and
Save
plot
your
the
energy for
revolution.
organizing.
That's exact. Take your money, go home, and plot the revolution.
Oh,
That's what you need to do. But speaking of taking the money,
I was hoping you say speaking of plotting the revolution, but
well, let's be real though. Let's be real. But come on now. She tried to play the skinny man, doctor.
Hey, I know Kamal knows something about doing a bare minimum, but I do have actually preferences too, Jackie. So I ain't mad. I prefer women with natural hair. I haven't dealt with a woman with a perm since college. I take bald heads too. I don't care, but
I'm all shapes, all sizes kind of dude. So I can work.
Good
I can
for
work.
you.
Can I say I can work the middle up in here? Can I say that?
Oh Jesus!
I shouldn't be saying that, right?
I'm sorry, Lord Jesus. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying now. Could do a little something.
You know what's funny? I'm doing a movie review tomorrow about a movie I just seen with Regina Hall called Master or Masters.
Yeah, I was looking at that. What's that like? Is that dope?
You're gonna have to come tomorrow and find out about it. But
where is it on? What is it on? Is it a
it's
movie
pretty much about her being in a whole white setting, like being in a white college with dealing with nothing but white people, and you being that black sheep, singled out all the time. I went to a college in Alabama, a white college, and I did it for like 2 days. I took 2 classes, and it was too cold in the room. The AC was up to Antarctica. I had to get up out of there. I was like, no. And I couldn't relate to none of these people. I didn't talk to anybody at the school. And then I went to Morris Brown.
Where the classrooms were warm and the
no AC, broken windows, black people everywhere. It was beautiful.
Oh my God.
He's up in that white school going like, yo, female. Yo, honey dip. Yo, honey dip with the blind hair, B. Honey dip with the blind hair. Surrounded by police 2 minutes later and shit.
He's like, my name is Sharon. You will address me as such.
Hey, so we're gonna take another quick break, and I'm gonna give y'all a sample. So we're gonna give y'all a sample and try to guess what it is. So that's what it is right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
Do that.
Yeah. What's good, everybody? Welcome out once again to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. It's time for me to give y'all a sample. What I like to do is tell you about samples real quick. You got a sample when you're taking an old song and redoing it to make a new song. You could take the beat, you could take the vocals, you could take the whole song and redo it. And those are called remixes. Remix show. But at the same time, it's a piece of the song that you pretty much take and make it a whole new song. So here's one of the first ones I'm gonna give you right here. It goes by a group that is known by the name of People's Choice. And this song was released in 1975, the year I was born. Big up 75, big up the Scorpios, big up to all that. I already said that. But it came off an album called Boogie Down USA, and it is called Do It Any Way You Wanna. That's another little piece of that right there. As you can see, People's Choice. Do it anyway you wanna, do it any way you wanna. So it was dope. But who you think redid this right here? Let's look in the chat room real quick, see if anybody knows who redid this song right here. We see nobody right now. So let me put you on to who redid this song right here. No other than, let's get them ready.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like the way this is going down.
The Jungle Brothers.
Need some extra.
That's right. 1989. Jump by the forces of nature.
Come on, jump up. Freak a hustle. Do
what you waiting for?
Every muscle. Ain't no time for playing around. Only one thing to do when you hear this sound.
Come on.
Act yourself with someone else and make sure yourself ain't by yourself. Dying to get on the dance floor. Girl, what you waiting for? Yeah.
You heard that right there. So that is a sample for today. That's right. From People's Choice to the Jungle Brothers. It's beautiful how music continues to bring forth older stuff and bring it to the future. So we got to continue to do that. That's what we call Sankofa, going backwards to go forward. So we got to continue to do that with the music. Now, let's keep it going and let's go back to the Remix Morning Crew. Yeah.
I feel something. Must be my blood and heartbeat thumping. Dispense your funds to pass through the door. You know there's room for you on the floor. You don't know if there'll be any more. So, yo, what you waiting for?
Yeah.
That's one of the best beats of all time, B. I love that beat. Love that beat. The original and the JBs, B.
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely a house club dance record. That's what I miss. I ain't gonna front. I really enjoy playing 70s and 80s music because you could dance to it. When it started to get to 90s and 2000s, you could dance, but it's like it's not free flowing dancing. You know what I'm saying? It's more like, oh, we got these dances. Do this dance.
Oh yeah, I didn't do any of that.
Wow.
I love the Jungle Brothers. Not a huge house fan, but the Jungle Brothers is the shit. Somebody said that they definitely are underrated. They should have had a longer career. They are definitely like top 20 all-time groups. Top 20. Maybe even maybe like 13, 14. They were underrated, son.
What you know about that, Jackie? You know about Jungle Brothers? And
not a whole lot. Not a whole lot.
Oh,
not a whole lot.
Well, that's why I'm here, Jackie.
Oh,
That's why
That's true. I mean, I and I
talking
respect
sweet
you
to
for that.
Jackie, son. I don't like how you talking to you. Don't talk to her
What?
like
Wait
that.
a minute. Are
What's
we
wrong with
fighting
you,
over
man?
me again?
There's only one skinny man. There's only
Oh,
one skinny man in the house right now. You know what I'm
what?
saying?
what's this light on
Hold
light? Light on light crime. Oh my goodness.
Oh no! Oh no!
Listen,
Oh
I
my God! Yeah, I can't.
Jackie's a beautiful, perfect woman. So
I think
Oh,
so too, Jackie. I think you're
perfect?
beautiful.
Yeah, okay, no.
it's
I
somebody.
think you're a beautiful, beautiful, perfect woman. So
Oh, we put two perfects on it.
What is happening?
my bad. It's all
Her outstandingness.
outstanding.
Okay. Oh, come on. You gotta hit that joke. Come on. Come on. How can you say that and
You
not
gotta
go into
stop.
ear doctor?
You know.
Oh,
Outstanding.
you know that's my
Outstanding.
joke. Oh my
True.
gosh.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Jack. In other professions, this might be considered sexual harassment. So I apologize for that.
Yeah, I know.
I
I'm sorry
know
about that.
it's
You always
My
start
like Remix Morning Show where where
Sexual harassment is back in vogue on the air.
where there's no HR.
No HR. No HR.
where
Please.
HR doesn't exist.
Next.
Yo, but at the end of the show, I come back and do a mix. We made it to 200 again. Big, and we also made it to 15,000 subscribers.
That's right.
15,000 subscribers. Y'all dope. Y'all all right.
That's right.
Much love to all y'all.
Yeah, we gotta get up to 20. 20 before the what? July? June,
Yeah.
July. You can
Yeah,
do that.
I think so.
And
I
that's
think
when you
that's
get
a
up
nice-
and do your dance, right?
You get that, yeah. No, you play that beat, you know what I'm saying? I
Okay.
do. I'll show everybody what's still going down. My own, I'll show everybody.
That's right. We're gonna come out with that calendar. Anyway.
Calendar or calendar? Which one do you coming out with?
Yeah,
Calendar? A calendar?
sorry.
No.
Bye-bye.
It's true. Monty now said, get naked, Kamal. You promised us shirtlessness, and you did.
You get that? You know what I'm
You
saying?
did.
I'm not playing.
And you keep moving the goalpost. It was first, it was 5,000.
They're not quite ready for it. I don't know if they're ready for it. I might have to do some shaving, but but it's there though.
Skinny men. This is what happens. Skinny men.
What are
Skinny
you
men.
saying? Have you said, man, take it all off faster?
Skinny men be doing this.
We deliver. Anyway, more news. I think we got more news.
I think so. I think we got so yeah, not only can we not have safe employment experiences in the tech world, but damn it, we can't even have insurance. So of course not. This was reported in what is this? The Seattle Times issue with State Farm, claiming that they see a lot of fraud, but their Black customers are saying that's not fraud, that's discrimination. So what is going on here? Daryl Williams, who was a real estate investor, I think. He has a company called Connectors Realty. It's a business on the south side of Chicago. He said that he filed a claim with State Farm, his insurer, to help repair damage in one of his properties from a burst water pipe. So he said that the State Farm claims adjuster told him that she did not believe his version of events. He said that this claims adjuster told him, we have a lot of fraud in your area. Wow. State Farm eventually paid Williams a small fraction of his claim, didn't even pay the whole claim. By then, his expenses has snowballed, and he had to sell the building to pay his bills. And of course, insurers never want to pay out an entire claim. They never do. And they will always try to pay as little as possible. But Williams was saying that he felt he was treated especially poorly because of his race. And in 2019, he sued State Farm for discrimination. His attorney asked the judge in the case to certify the lawsuit as a class action after analyzing claims data in Illinois, where State Farm is the largest insurer. Of course, the judge said the analysis alone wasn't enough to justify a class actions status for the case. But then Carla Campbell Jackson reached out, a Black woman who worked for State Farm for 28 years in Illinois and Michigan. She was fired in 2016 on the grounds that she had shared confidential information outside of the company, which she says she didn't do. She said her firing had been the final act in a campaign by the company to discredit her after she raised concerns that the insurer was using fraud as a pretext to deny the insurance claims of Black customers. There she is with her pretty self. Last year, the EEOC agreed with Campbell Jackson, saying that State Farm discriminated against her. She also sued State Farm, accusing it of discrimination and retaliation. Then she came across Williams's lawsuit, agreed to testify on his behalf. Williams is hoping that her testimony will strengthen the request for class certification to make this a class action lawsuit. But dozens of employees, customers, agents of color are accusing State Farm of racial discrimination. There's a pending lawsuit that was filed in 2020 that describes a pattern of discrimination against agents by the company. Another lawsuit filed last month by an Indian American former employee that claims racial harassment by coworkers. I don't understand how people don't get punched in the mouth in the workplace. That's just me. But yeah, State Farm, another example of racism in corporate America. Not surprised, but I do like how this case has kind of evolved, where, you know, there's this one guy who's like, this is not right the way they're treating me. And this agent comes out with some, you know, clearly racist trope. There's a lot of fraud in the I mean, Black people have a hard enough time getting insurance, right? Like, we have a difficult enough time getting insurance that we can afford.
Yeah.
So,
No.
like the, you know what it would take? You know what it have to take to fraudulently file a claim? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, let me. This is for Kamal, not the RemiX or Black Power Media. I'm also here for the fraud. If y'all do the fraud and people do a good job, I'm not mad at the fraud.
No,
because these companies, these companies, they live not to pay these claims. They live to take your money, to claim they're going to be there when you need support. And then when you need support, they do everything they within their power to reduce the amount of resources you can get to make you whole. And so as they're taking your money and they're using it for Wall Street investments, they're using it for high salaries, and everything else that they can think of in order to make themselves rich. And, you know, again, as we've stated, it's not shocking that this sort of new form of redlining, or this the discovery of it, you know, using language like fraud is at play here, because that's what happens in our communities. One, our premiums are higher based on the communities we're living in. So we're actually paying more for faulty insurance, which doesn't come back and serve our needs. And we, you know, there was a day when we had, you know, obviously situations, conditions were different. But remember, when we talk about sort of alternatives to how the system now works, there was a time when they wouldn't insure our stuff. And so we had to create cooperatives, and through churches and other unions, created our own insurance, created our own death benefits and type of thing. So that we did that to take care of our own communities. And as soon as a formal segregation went down, and these companies began to be more interested in receiving our resources than keeping up a hardcore racist wall up, we let our own things fall down, which were never a panacea by any stretch of the imagination. But you can't do anything unless you have the infrastructure and the ownership and the resources to fight back. And so these companies were, in our communities, these cooperatives, these collective ways of living were basically destroyed, in essence, to allow so-called free market capitalism to enter our neighborhoods and discriminate against us and not provide the resources that we need.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, and this is my personal thing. I just, if you can find a way to profit from this white supremacist, capitalist, patriarchal, murderous system, good. You do that. All this playing by the rules, foolishness. No, the people who are controlling all this wealth, they didn't play by any rules. Well, when you think about why a lot of the insurance companies that exist now, why they're still around, what did they insure back around 1800 or so? What were they insuring? They were insuring chattel property, and that's our ancestors. So I'm not mad at anybody filing a false claim. I ain't mad. Get that money.
Yeah, just
Get
don't get
back.
busted. Yeah, don't mess it
Just
up.
don't get caught.
Don't
What
mess
you
it up for
don't
the rest
do is
of
you
us.
don't go tell everybody that you don't
It
put it on
was there.
social media. Jesus Christ.
Talking about it. I'm gonna talk about the statute of limitations thing that's probably is no longer. So we like my peoples plotted a little something back in the day. And I think this was popular back in the day. So we didn't carry through our plan. But some other plots and plans, which I knew of that was similar, was there used to be this big thing around the car accident thing. So this was popular back in the day, was to sort of, get your car hit by another car, and have like 3 people in one car that got hit. And so that's 3 or 4 different claims. So that was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? People don't do that no more, but
No, that's not.
That was wrong.
People don't do anything. That was it's very wrong, and it was very shady, and people do not do that kind of thing anymore. But I don't shed any tears for the insurance companies. I don't give a damn about their whining about all people committing fraud. It's just insurance is fraud.
Yeah.
I just really feel like property insurance. They're all fraudulent institutions. And it's wild. I remember the insurance man, because I'm from the country. So, there was he was never an insurance agent. He was the insurance man. And he would come to my grandmother's house to collect the premium every month. And in the country, we different. We different with it in the country. You don't, and I know people probably don't do this anymore, but when I was growing up, if you were family or close friends, you didn't knock on the door and wait for somebody to come and open the door. First of all, the screen door was closed. The main inside door was already open, right? So you'd knock on the door and just open the door and tell people coming in. You would literally open the door and say coming in. Just to let folks know that somebody is coming in the house. Well, this insurance man, white man, decided he wanted to try that at my grandmama's house one day. And we're in the kitchen and she's cooking like she was always doing. And we hear this white voice coming, Miss Cornelia coming in. That woman met him in the living room. You can't come in my house.
Yeah, that was the Southern way. Yeah, you don't come into my house in Brooklyn.
Come in don't work across.
Yeah, it don't work all across. Yeah. First of all, the doors are always locked, so that don't happen like that.
That now, I'm pretty sure people don't do too much of that now.
Yeah, but I won't get down too much on the folks on insurance, but it just feels too much sometimes. Like it's the hustle of getting you to buy. Sometimes it just feels a little like you got to shower afterwards. I'm not saying everybody.
No,
but a lot of the agents, it just feels like you use car salesman right now.
It is, and I mean, especially with the life insurance. Dear God, they're just, well, do you think this is enough? And what if something happens? You really want your loved ones to be taken care of fully, and it's like they're literally sitting there saying, "This how much you love you? You don't love your people. Come on, this all you gonna leave?
That's all you gonna get them, exactly."
Bastard. They still go.
Basically, that's right. Like, you cheap bastard. That's the basic routine. It is.
They still gonna have to work after your black ass die. That's all you gonna.
That's all you gonna get. You ain't setting nobody up. children gonna look at you and spit at you at the
This ain't
funeral.
making,
You
this
doing
ain't
nothing.
generate no generational wealth, you cheap son.
I still got to. In fact, I got to get on. And again, like insurance obviously can be a useful, very useful tool for life estate planning, even sort of some economic security. And obviously, as we know, there's some insurance that people can even take loans out on, which can be so like cheaper than some bank loans, or just more accessible than bank loans, even for our community. So no one's saying insurance is not something that's needed,
Right.
or helpful. But again, as the way it gets done in this country, it gets to be that kind of like, people are trying to take money out of your pocket and they ain't gonna give you nothing in return, even when it's time for you to get it, right? So
Yeah.
that's the big thing.
Yeah, and then when with us, we always have all these extra requirements, to prove that the claim should be played out. I mean, you can't just send a death certificate. Are they really dead? Do you have a picture of them in line in the casket? Can we have a copy of the program? Can we have a teaspoon of the ashes that they were cremated? I joke.
And it's from the original story, like it's like in our neighborhoods, car insurance, right? Your car insurance rates, like your burglary rates and all that kind of stuff. So it's just, when you're poor, you get double taxed, you get triple taxed, you get quadruple taxed because you're paying more than people who have higher incomes, even though you can afford less. And again, it's the reason why people have to go through other means and mechanisms to put some money in their pocket, because there's all these other agencies trying to take it out. And when you make a mistake, you're going to get some papers fast in the mail. Fast.
Oh my God.
Fast. The threats will come fast and furious. When they make a mistake, it's going to take them 6 months, a year. Be patient. We appreciate your patience. 14 phone calls, 85 minutes each time on the phone, waiting for somebody who never comes on anyway. So when it's their mistake, you got to wait in line. But if you do something, mistake, I'm going to leave it at a mistake. Boy, you better watch out.
Yep. And you know what I think the answer to all of this is? I think the answer is scientific socialism. That's what I think the answer is. I don't see us getting out from under any of this outside of scientific socialism. I mean, because societal collapse is coming. It's coming. And I think we have to be real clear about what it is we are fighting for on the other side of that. But be that as it may, as my co-host Sean the Voice Blackman says, I got to roll, y'all, because I got to do my real job.
Your other job with Sean?
Yes.
So when y'all
What's
going
the matter?
to...
What's
No,
that?
I'm just saying, like, doesn't Sean go on vacation? If Sean
What?
goes on vacation, don't y'all need a fill-in host?
No.
Sean does never take vacations?
He takes vacation. I'm the fill-in. When he takes leave, when I take leave.
Don't you want to co-host?
No.
No? You don't think
No.
so? We can't carry this energy over to another platform?
Listen.
Uh-oh.
Let me explain the side piece rule to you in case you did not know.
Please explain. Dear doctor, come up for this. I need you here.
I need to hear this.
I need you here for the side piece rule.
Look, there is the main. And the main has priority. The side piece has to wait for when there is time. And side piece cannot encroach upon the priorities that I have with the main. And if you complain, then you will no longer be a side piece. Them's the rules.
Those are the rules.
Those are the rules.
I mean, haven't you seen all these movies about side pieces forgetting that they're side pieces?
That's true. Those are all the rules.
That's the Lifetime has a whole network about that. That's why Lifetime Network exists. Lifetime is the side piece that forgot there were side pieces network.
I've been thoroughly humbled Violence.
They don't get to go to none of the holiday dinners.
No.
Nothing. You get
I
nothing.
will bring you. I will
Microwave
bring
food.
you a
You
plate.
You wait
I'll
for
bring
the
you a
phone to
plate.
ring. You wait for
Oh,
the
yeah.
phone to ring.
I'll bring you a plate tomorrow.
They get the foil plate. You right.
Yes. I'll bring you a plate tomorrow.
You right. So get your
If
foil
that.
plate, Kamal, and chill out.
I'm waiting by the phone. I'm gonna wait by the phone.
All right, y'all gentlemen,
All right.
talk amongst yourselves.
Thank you, Jackie.
I'll see
Yeah.
y'all later.
See you tomorrow. See you later.
Hey, Kamal, before I go into this mix, I wanted to ask you, what made you start Community Movement Builders?
I still had some, I used to I organized a lot, and I still had some organizing I wanted to do. And I felt like out of my past experiences, there were things or roads not taken, and I wanted to take some of those roads. So with Community Movement Builders, it was all about doing base building in local communities, but also making sure that we had a reach that could be both local or citywide, national, and international. And slowly but surely, a lot of that is coming to fruition. So, for even the folks out there in the audience, I appreciate any and all support that people have given. They can always check us out at communitymovementbuilders.org and help support in the good work that we try to do. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, we got about 3 more minutes left to go. So
do it.
Mix
do
time.
it.
Here we come. Let's get it.
Do that mix.
Come on. Once again, welcome out and thank y'all for tuning in right here on Black Power Media. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. We rocking out, y'all. A little bit of instrumentals to get y'all ready for this week. Let's do it like this.
was fresh. That was fresh.
And we out of here, y'all. Catch y'all in the morning. Peace.